Go to 400th of a second, I'd need to double that again, so that would be 4 times as much light. If I wanted to go to 800th of a second, I'd need to double that again, so I would have 8 times as many lights in here at 800th of a second. If I wanted to go to 1600th of a second, I would need 16 lights in here. You can quickly see the problem. I'd end up with a room full of lights and it would be rather bright. So what I need is a light source that produces an awful lot of light in a very, very short period of time. And that's where flash comes in. Well, not all flashes are exactly the same, and I'm talking about the modern style of flashes rather than the older studio heads. But basically how these work is really simple. The more light you need, the longer the flash stays on. The less light you need, the shorter the flash fires. How short? Well, this is a really good bit. It could be as short as maybe 10,000th of a second, 15,000th of a second, or even less. And it's that tiny period that the flash fires that freezes the action. That's why they're so good. There's only one thing you really need to know as far as your camera settings go, and that is the camera's flash sync speed. You might need your manual to discover what that is, but basically it is the fastest shutter speed that your camera can work and see flash without a weird black line appearing across the screen. Now on my camera, that is a 250th of a second. That's in an ideal world. The world isn't ideal, so I'm actually going to work a little bit below that and set my camera's shutter speed to 200th of a second, and it won't move from that. But I want to be absolutely clear, 200th of a second is not what freezes the action. In fact, if I put my camera into shutter priority mode and I set it to 200th of a second and we don't fire the flash, we just take a shot without flash and we bang these together even gently, it's always going to come out blurry when I do that, because 200th of a second isn't even remotely close enough to freeze the action. So the shutter speed